All right. This is the time of the show. Is it the time of the show?
It is. This is...
Welcome,
Wow.
everybody.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
We are still down to 2.
the best two.
We're just keeping it alive at this point.
The zombies have taken another day off, and Jeff and I are the last of the crew in The Walking Dead.
We are. We are. We've
The other two.
survived The Walking Dead.
Yes, we continue to truck on. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I guess we're starting off with our weeks, right? Normal, typical.
Typical.
Yeah.
How was your week?
My week was good. I actually got a bunch of PlayStation games, which was interesting. I got Madden.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which version of Madden?
The last one. So Madden 2019.
Okay.
But it was cheap for some reason. I guess because football season's over.
And no one cares about football.
Yeah, it was like $16. So
Really?
I was like, oh, dude, I'm totally getting this. And I'm terrible at it, but that's fine.
Are you playing the Saints?
Of course,
So,
yeah.
Do you having reversal of bad calls?
No bad calls. Not yet. I haven't entered the full season yet. I'm working through the preseason right now, and yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling, but I'm getting the hang of it slowly. It's been ages since I played any Madden, so this is like, yeah. I used to crack out on it really bad back in the day, like early 2000s. I played the shit out of Madden, and it's a learning curve for sure. It's so different now, especially with our new TV. It looks like a real football game. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And we also got what was the other one? Oh, we got South Park Fractured Butthole.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but it's for Vanessa because I mean I'll play it too, but I think she was curious about it. We haven't started it yet, so I don't know. I don't know anything about the South Park games. I don't know how they play or. You know, the closers seem to think that it's easy enough that she would get into it since she's a big Overcooked fanatic. But we'll see. And I also got Gran Turismo again. I re-downloaded it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. It's I'm doing all the exercises and stuff, and you know. It's hard as shit, man. I don't know what it is. Like
you have to. Wow, it's $20. Madden. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah.
Oh, it's $15.
Yeah, 15. That's what I paid for it. Yeah.
I'm gonna buy it right now. I mean, it's cheap. I don't play Madden games that much, but for $15,
I couldn't pass it up, dude.
You know, if it's still on sale and you want to get Madden 19 for $15 when the show drops, check out the PlayStation Store.
Absolutely. I was shocked. I didn't think Madden, and that's the most current Madden.
Yeah.
That's what shocked me about it. Normally, if it's like a year old, the most current versus one from the year past, I can understand that one going on sale. But for the current one, I was like, that's crazy. I actually went to get NBA 2K, and I was like, they're both full priced, so I'm not getting them, even the older one. But then I saw Madden was on sale, and I was like, whoa, totally getting that.
It is coming up on the playoffs, so for NBA, that's probably why it's so full price.
Yeah, right. But I figured the old one would be on sale, and it's not. They're both full price.
You would think, but also think about it. Madden 20 is going to be 2020. I don't know, Mad Dog 2020, Madden. I don't know. It's going to come out in August, so that's not far away.
No, and you can update the rosters, I think. So
yeah. Well, if we should jump on, and I'll play the Vikings, and we can have a rematch.
Ooh, yeah, we gotta do that. We gotta do that. I would not be passing. I would not be. I'll be in a cover 2 against that.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so it's gonna be fun as
shit. Outside of that, let's see. I started watching this show on AMC called A Discovery of Witches.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting. It's weird. It's like, it has to do with the supernatural and a school of some sort. I haven't finished the episode yet, but it's done very seriously. It's not like cartoonish like True Blood or Harry Potter. It's like, it's very just straight sort of drama. It's bizarre. It's very weird, their treatment of it all. I'll report back after I finish the first episode, but so far I like it. I mean, about 30 minutes into the first episode. Also, I'm continuing Umbrella Academy, and I think Corey mentioned he liked it enough. I love it so far. I don't know if it's going to change towards the end, but it's fantastic up to this point. I think, at least. I don't know. It feels very creative, sort of different. It's not one of those. I know Nate, is like this with the teeny bopper stuff, but it's not teeny bop. It's not a teeny bopper show. It's just. I don't know. It's good. I think it's well written. I would highly, highly recommend anybody watch it. It's a good mystery. If you like mystery, I think it's solid. But,
I might check it out. I got more time coming up here pretty soon. So
yeah, I think you can fly through it too. It's got good cinematography in it. Good characters. I think the writing's good. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. In terms of comics, I read The Realm 12, which continues to be awesome. It's still weird with their pacing and their storytelling is so offbeat and strange, but for some reason I'm drawn back to it. I don't know why. Yeah, because they'll just end an issue and you're like, is that really the last page?
Yeah.
You're like, what? And then I read the big Marvel crossover event this year is the War of the Realms, which has to do with Malekith, the Dark Elf, taking over, fighting, bringing his war into Midgard, which is Earth. I don't know. It's fine. It's, all the Marvel crossovers are pretty much the same. Everybody gets super one-dimensional, I feel like, because they're trying to fit so many characters in.
Yeah.
It started off good, but then it started doing that where there's all these one-liners, and I don't know. It gets kind of corny. I think the best thing Marvel has out right now is Meet the Skrulls, which is awesome. That's it's totally about
Captain Marvel. And
well, they actually don't talk about Captain Marvel in it, but it's about
the Skrulls themselves.
Yeah, the Skrulls in human society. They're acting like spies, and they're basically like a normal family, like a nuclear mom, dad, 2 daughters, and the daughters go to high school and they have to come back and report to their parents about like their social standing and what they did. Like, I have a date with Ted. I'm gonna try to it's awesome. I mean, it's so bizarre and out there, and I love when Marvel takes chances like that. I would highly recommend that book. But yeah, that's my week.
Wow. So it's sort of like the Coneheads, just modern.
Yes. Actually, that is a great analogy, dude. Totally. It is totally like the Coneheads. Yep.
Well, I had a pretty busy week in real life. I put an offer on a house. Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
That got accepted. Actually had the inspection a couple hours ago. So
how close are you?
Well, we have to wait because the closing date, the sellers need a closing date like end of June, July, because they're building their house. So it works in my favor because I have more time to get my house to back on the market and sell, and then we can make it just contingent on that whole thing. So
yeah, and then you're done with winter just about, huh? You're getting close to spring, summer.
Well, it was 78 degrees this weekend.
Ooh, look
and
at
then
that.
It was 43 degrees a day. So
it's been in the 80s here, 78, pretty much.
We're not that lucky. So this week, I'm not sure if it's still going to be available by the time the show drops, but with the fire in Notre Dame last week, Ubisoft, because they did digital mapping of Notre Dame Cathedral for their Assassin's Creed Unity, made Assassin's Creed Unity available for free on the Ubisoft store to anybody.
I saw you post that. That is awesome.
PC. So I downloaded it on my computer, and it is it's kind of a forgotten game, I think.
Yeah.
At this point, I know that Nate really talked highly of it. He said it was the only Assassin's Creed he ever finished. And when I run it on my computer in max settings,
yeah,
it's really good. I found one glitch where I launched up this rope and I landed inside the building. And so I was stuck. I was bugged in the game. And then it killed me. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. He killed me.
That's so cool that they did that, though.
It is.
That's really awesome. That's moving.
I mean, granted, it's a 5-year-old game, but I just completed the mission that is centered around Notre Dame itself. And going inside, it's pretty impressive how well they did it, down to the stained glass, the detail of the stained glass windows around the whole cathedral.
That's just crazy.
It's pretty impressive.
That's nuts.
So
I still have not played one yet. I have not played any Assassin's Creed games.
They're fun. I really enjoyed them. I played, I think, every one except for the handheld ones.
Mm-hmm.
Except for, I played one that Nate had given when he let me borrow his Vita last year. I played that one. And I was digging. It was hard on a small screen, but I've always had a soft spot for Assassin's Creed. Always have. And then they actually just got really weird with Origins and Odyssey. It's a complete change.
Yeah, they went in a different direction.
Yeah, they went. And so I think that sort of killed me off of it because I like the old school, just go do this and kill all these dudes and you're cool.
Yeah. Right.
And so then I picked up Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered that I bought a while back.
I saw you playing it.
I was playing that again, and I was digging that one now that I've actually gotten into the meat of the story. And it's about the only assassin that falls from... He questions the assassin's motives and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And he turns and becomes a Templar.
What?
Well, yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of an offshoot of the rest of them. And I know I get ragged on for watching broadcast TV, but I was catching up. I was catching up on my DVR, and the show Gotham that's on Fox for the past 5 years.
Right.
It's about to end this week. Thursday is the final episode. And I watched last week's, and I will say, up until last week, I really enjoyed all the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But last week's episode, I don't know if they lost money or if they were like just thrown like a bag of cash and say, make it with this, and it's like $10. and then
they Bane?
Oh, it's terrible, dude. They must have got the writers for the DC movies and said, here, come write these episodes.
Oh, that's not good. Why would you end on that?
I don't know, dude. It was this last one was so bad because they're bringing Nissa Al Ghul into the whole mix. Mm-hmm. And it is the worst writing I've ever seen. I was like, God, this is terrible. And it just looked and Bane was terrible. If you try to if you compare it to the Dark Knight's Bane with I can't remember.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
This is like if the understudy of the understudy had to take over for Tom Hardy and get his chance. He just ruined his career.
It's funny you bring that up because I watched a snippet of it. It was on TV and I was flipping through and Bane was there and I was like, what is this?
Oh yeah, dude. It's terrible.
That's unfortunate.
And they had done a great job with fleshing out you see the Riddler come into to his self.
Yeah.
See Penguin come into himself. Bruce got whiny and bitchy and not showing signs of Batman. But you see Selena Kyle grow up and become Catwoman.
That's awesome.
And they were just and then the Joker, they're using Velasquez. Jerome Velasquez is his name.
Mm-hmm.
And they found a guy that's just almost, I don't know, he looks really good. He insonifies the Joker.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And then they just dropped the football on us. It's like Brett Favre playing against the Saints. And
that's when we actually beat y'all instead of the other way around.
Yeah. So yeah, I will be able to catch up on shows that I put on hold and comic books because I'm pretty much done with the house shopping.
That's awesome.
And the big project that I had going on at work was finally done as of like this afternoon.
Yeah.
We finally finished it after being up since 2:30 this morning.
Oh, man,
and it's like 9 o'clock at night, so now I'm just done. And
yeah, you're probably delirious.
I'm done. So that was my exhaustive week.
Good, dude. I will say now, if you have time now and you're gonna go back to reading comics, you gotta continue Lazarus. I'll leave it at that.
I have volume 2 because as soon as I finished volume 1, I drove to the comic book store and bought volume 2. So the only downside to my new house is now the comic book store is about 30 minutes away.
Oh, that sucks.
But it's all freeway.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
it's still within reach. It's not like going an hour and a half.
No.
Dude, when I lived in Ville Platte, I had Walmart as an option. And Lafayette. And Lafayette was 45 minutes away. So
you had like Archie comics available and Bazooka bubblegum.
No, they would sell those I'm sure you remember this. They would sell those packs. Yes.
I remember the packs.
And even, the packs were awesome. You'd get because you would get into at least one of the three,
yeah.
You would get the ratio of getting a good comic in that pack was at least one of them was decent, So I
have so many to catch up on. I bought like the Book of Magic, that was from the Neil Gaiman Sandman universe. I bought the Book of Magic like the first 3, and I just haven't been able to touch them because.
Wait, the new series or the older one?
The new series that just came out.
Nice.
So I have the Realm I need to catch up on. I have to catch up on Gideon Falls because I haven't read past 9.
Dude, Gideon Falls, I'm telling you, has turned into one of the best books on the market right now. It started out, I hate to go off on a tangent on this, but you remember how sprawled out it was at first, and it was like, what does all this have to do?
It was jumping around,
Dude, he's such a masterful storyteller because he's starting to just bring it all together, and you're like, holy shit, this is just an incredible book.
Oh, and I still want to catch up on Kill or Be Killed, too, because I really got into that. We just did our CBC right here.
That's been our week.
That has been our week. News of the week.
News of the week. All right. Cool. So, we have an abbreviated news week, of course. Actually, it's 5 items. 5 items, yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Or 5x5.
Number 5, we'll kick it off. So Sony announced that they are releasing a doc about the creation of God of War called Raising Kratos.
That's pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
You know, because a game, it took 5 years to make God of War?
400 hours.
I mean, that is documentary worth.
Yeah, 400 hours is what they are pulling from for it. And yeah, 5 years. They're going to have all the actors that were involved, interviews with them. Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a solid documentary about the making of a game, if I can recall. Maybe somebody in the comments can mention something, but I can't recall something about like a doc about the making of a game this big. I mean, I remember docs about like, I don't know.
Companies. I've seen documentaries about companies like Atari.
Or that dude that with Donkey Kong, you know,
whatever,
that kind of stuff.
Billy something or other.
Yeah, but nothing about one game. So I'm totally interested in watching this. It's going to be PlayStation, YouTube. So I don't think they're gonna charge anything to watch it.
Well,
I think it's just.
Well, no, it's not EA, so we don't have to worry about to continue with the story. Insert coins.
Yeah, right. You watch the first 10 minutes now to continue. Enter your credit card number.
Watch these 5,000 ads real quick, and you can't skip. I think it's good because I think that it's interesting that now we're getting really good quality games. It's almost like I think we're hitting the golden age in a way of video games.
Totally. Absolutely.
And now they're producing not only a documentary, but we're getting quality video game movies to an extent because I mean, Detective Pikachu hasn't dropped yet, unless it has and I missed it.
No, that's
because I think back, kids today, they're video game heroes. You look at the CGI and cinematics with Detective Pikachu from the trailers, and then you go back and look at like Street Fighter.
The Super Mario movie?
Super Mario movie where the Goombas' heads are like these little reptilian dudes and big Goomba shoulders.
Yeah.
Sort of like, or look at Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia.
Right, right.
The only one that was sort of decent was Mortal Kombat. And I think that was
I was about to rep it, dude. I was about to rep it. It had that Tracy Lord song.
The music
dug it.
The music was killer for that because
fight.
But
it's like, yes.
I mean, even the Doom movie with The Rock.
Right.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I mean, now look, we've got Marvel. They're trying to make other movies from video games, but they're not trying to be stupid about it.
Yeah. I mean, we have, what is it? Tomb Raider also. But, yeah, it's not great. They're coming out with a new one too. They're doing a sequel.
They just keep kicking that dead horse.
Yeah, maybe they'll figure it out one day. Who knows?
Maybe.
All right.
But speaking of documentaries,
there you go. The Russo brothers are reportedly developing a Stan Lee documentary. So that has a potential. I mean, I imagine you cannot go wrong with that.
No, I don't think so.
Especially now. I mean, right after his passing. It's long overdue, I feel like. I know that Stan Lee gets a lot of the spotlight. I personally would love a Jack Kirby documentary, but that's splitting hairs. I would love it, especially if they're doing it. Like who better to do it than I mean, outside of Scorsese, maybe. But
maybe. Yeah.
Russo brothers doing it. That's awesome. And they didn't. I read in the article they tried not to focus too much on it. They didn't want to release too many details, just that they were doing it. But I think it's long overdue. Oh
yeah, for sure. It should have been done. But I mean, honestly, think about it. I mean, Stan Lee was always popular within comic book circles.
Yeah.
But he really didn't gain that mainstream kind of media popularity until they started doing all the MCU.
Yeah. Well, then he you know, all the Marvel people, like us as comic book fans, knew who he was. But
yeah,
when the MCU started, that's when you get the non-comic book people watching and knowing, oh, that old guy's in there again. You know,
that old guy. I know.
Yeah.
Well, and oh wait, I won't go there. You haven't seen Captain Marvel, so never mind.
I have not.
Okay, I won't say anything.
I should watch it soon, though.
You should, and I mean, we do have, you know, by the time this drops, 2 days until Endgame.
I know. We're going to the matinee on Saturday.
Are you? I gotta watch it because we gotta cover it. Just us two. Buddy. We'll cover it.
Oh, we'll rock it, dude. Rock it. Okay, well, leading into more comic book film news, Warner Brothers reportedly shuts down DC's Swamp Thing. Wah, wah, wah. That's a misleading title, though, because if you read the article, it says that they just cut season 1 short. Yeah. So I don't think they're shutting it down unless they don't plan on making any outside of season 1.
The only thing I could think of is it's odd that they reported this, because if they cut the season short, it sounds like they're still going to release it and then see how it does on the market.
That, and it has to do with Warner Brothers evaluating the DC streaming service. So they're taking it in. Yeah, Warner Brothers is starting their streaming service. They're going to take DC into it. I think it's part of a larger body of work, too. So they'll start pulling their films, I guess, from other streaming services. And
which means you can watch, you know, Michael Keaton's 1989 Batman, because that was a Warner Brothers film. As long as you just watch that one and you don't go any further, you're good. Because when George Clooney becomes Batman, everything falls apart.
Hey, I like Batman Returns.
Yeah,
I thought Danny DeVito was a great.
He was a good Penguin.
Yeah, and I love Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. That's me.
Well, right? She's a lot better than Halle Berry as Catwoman.
Absolutely. Halle Berry was a joke as Catwoman. Let's be honest. Right? You remember how?
I like how you're talking to
Michelle
Vanessa
Pfeiffer. Yes. Well, she's involved in this conversation. Michelle Pfeiffer was amazing as Catwoman because she was unhinged. That's that's what you're supposed to be.
And she has the most classic line of that movie.
And she's licking milk out of what's the line? What's the line?
She's just like meow.
Yeah, exactly.
Just damn.
Yeah, crazy cat lady, you know.
But we digress from Swamp Thing because I just think it's just it could be just, I mean, with Gotham ending on Fox, and then you've got Arrow ending on the CW. All they have left really is the Flash and Supergirl. That's
on the CW stuff, but the streaming, they've got Doom Patrol.
Oh,
they've got Titans. I don't know if they have anything else outside of that. I think that's the two. And then Swamp Thing was going to be added to that. So I don't know what they're doing. I think they're like stepping back and seeing how these series play out. And I don't know. What sucks is like they had to rewrite the whole season ending because they had it fitted for 13 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
They chopped it down to 10, which I was a fan of the idea, but if you're having to rewrite the ending, it's probably going to be terrible because you've got to chop off 3 whole episodes, and you know you're not allowing the story to be fit within 10 episodes. You're chopping it off.
You are. You're cutting important pieces.
Yeah, and you're forcing the writers to have to re-script all that and like figure something out in a short period of time. I was actually pumped about Swamp Thing. I don't know if I was going to get the DC service. I mean, I'm not going to do that for like 2 shows.
I guess the only thing I could see why they're leery with it being on their streaming service is unless you're a comic book fan, you don't really know anything about the Swamp Thing.
Right.
Unless you were I was a kid when it was a 1984 movie.
Yes.
And that was a good movie.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it in like 30 plus years.
Yeah.
But I still remember as a kid, it was, I'd like to rewatch it. Although.
And it could, and the thing is, I don't know what they were planning on doing with this tone of the series.
Yeah.
But Swamp Thing, the book, when I'm drawing a blank on his name. When Alan Moore wrote it, he took it in a very avant-garde direction, which comics had not been done in that role. He did it before Gaiman did it with Sandman. Like, Moore was one of the first people to establish
Tony.
comics as, hey bud, what are you doing? Establish comics as a literary art form, and he did it with Swamp Thing. So if they, no, I think if they did it in that, like, if it's not like an action film and they do it with this sort of avant-garde overtones, I'm sold all freaking day, but I don't know. Yeah. Also, it's filmed in Homo, which is like 40 minutes away from where I live right now in the heart of the swamp. So I would love to have seen it. I do plan on watching it. I don't know how I'm going to get it because I'm not going to get the streaming service, but we'll figure something out. Or we'll rent it out or something. But yeah, we'll see. Warner Brothers, make the smart decision here.
Yeah, don't F us.
Cool. You want to take the next item, Jeff? I know this.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a shock that EA actually said that they're going to release a video game that has no multiplayer and no microtransactions, and it's a Star Wars game. They're going to keep trying on this thing with the announcement of Jedi Fallen Order. Big announcement came out during a Star Wars celebration the other week. But they're saying... I know
you got reservations, right?
I have huge reservations. Granted, I'm not too keen on caring about gameplay. I'd like to see it. But the cinematics were interesting enough with the story.
The tone looked fantastic.
The tone looked fantastic as long as it's not like a bait and switch like they did with what was Anthem.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't trust EA to produce a good Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been a good Star Wars game since LucasArts was making Star Wars games.
You got to hope for the best and expect the worst.
Expect the worst. So multiplayer, I mean, that means that it's going to be story driven, but am I playing for a story that's 20 hours of gameplay, or is it going to be 6 hours of gameplay because EA doesn't know how to make a story because they're so used to multiplayer and microtransactions that it's going to be just real small?
I'm totally going to get it. Now, I'll preface that by saying that I'm definitely going to read the reviews before I get it to see what the general indication is. But I love that trailer. I know it wasn't gameplay, but the tones looked so different than a Star Wars game. There was something just... It felt like they were going in a different direction, and that's shocking for EA to do. I don't know who's responsible for that vision. I don't know who's involved in the game creation or whatnot, but I haven't ever probably been excited about a Star Wars game, and I'm totally interested in this one. That being said, it's EA. I have my reservations. I'll hold out.
As long as they don't make it stupidly excruciatingly hard like they did with the Sith ones that were out a while back on the PlayStation 3.
I
can't remember the name of them right now because...
Yeah.
But
there was hard?
They had so many different button combinations for moves with force powers And then like one boss would be just retardedly hard.
Is it Force Unleashed?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Dude, I actually love that game.
See, it had great cinematics though, because you had the Vader's apprentice, secret apprentice, stopping a Star Destroyer coming down. But then you go through the gameplay and it was like battle, pretty easy. And then you get to this stupid hard boss battle that you're like, what in the hell?
I probably didn't get that far. I'm trying to remember if I went through Force Unleashed 1 or 2. But I like that you could gain your force powers as you went on.
I like that.
I like that.
I like some of the concepts in the game.
Yeah.
I wish the story had been fleshed out better. What's funny is when I was packing up clutter in the house, I found Force Unleashed 2 still wrapped up in the cellophane that I'd forgotten about. I was like, I bought this game and never played it.
Dude, and then I would totally play that now.
And then I found Fallout New Vegas still wrapped up.
Oh,
I was like, damn it. But I have a PS3.
Every time I talk about Fallout, like the older ones, especially New Vegas, I want to play it immediately.
Yeah.
Just talking about it makes me want to play it. That's one of my favorite soundtracks to a game ever. Anyway, I digress.
PlayStation 3. So I guess that rolls us to our final number one topic.
Yep. Critical Role Kickstarter finishes with a record-breaking 11.9 million.
That is which is crazy for D&D.
Bonkers.
For a Kickstarter, I mean, for a Kickstarter to get almost 12 million, and then it's D&D centric.
So just to put this into perspective, it's the third highest Kickstarter ever, no matter genre, like period, out of all of it. The whole platform, it's number 3. And then among entertainment, it's number 1. It is the number 1 entertainment-based Kickstarter of all time. I didn't realize that the fan base was that big and rabid. I knew they were, I knew they had a lot of fans. I know just from the popularity of D&D 5e now and everything that they're partially responsible for that. Yeah. But I did not have any idea that it was this crazy.
That's stupid.
I'm curious to see it. I mean, with that kind of money, they better make it a good product.
And it's an animated series. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's an animated series. It's just part of me wants it to be nostalgic, like Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from the 80s.
Yeah, right.
But I was young. I'm sure that if I watched it now, I'd be like, "What is this crap?"
Yeah, well, the good thing about it is that they're going to be accurate this time around.
Yes.
Right. We're going to have like subclasses probably, and settings used. I'm wondering if I'm sure because it's Critical Role, they're going to use Exandria, which is the Tal'Dorei campaign setting.
Okay.
That so Matthew Mercer created that for his game, and it actually became a book that you can buy. And it's with 5e rules, but it's his own setting that he created. He's got like a few new subclasses in it. It's interesting. I haven't read through it. I have it on my shelf, but I'm sure that they're going to use that as their setting. It's not much different than Forgotten Realms, but it'd be cool, man. I'm anxious to see what they do with it because D&D just has so much material to choose from. I mean, they get all the races they can use, the classes, the weapons, the NPCs. Man, it could be awesome. I'm hoping it's not cheesy like American animation, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's some really bad American animation out there comparatively.
Well, it's probably going to be computer-generated animation like a lot of the cartoons are now. I don't see it being in the style of... It'd be cool if they did it within the style of Tolkien's The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings cartoon.
If they
That
got
would
Ralph
be awesome.
Bakshi, Ralph Bakshi, oh my God, I would die. I'd have a heart attack. Anyway.
Blockhead Printing. For all your custom nerdy shirt printing, cons, parties, or gaming clubs, this is a full-service, badass screen printing company. Check out blockheadprinting.com.
All right. This is the time of the show. Is it the time of the show?
It is. We are about to wrap this puppy up. As always, every week we thank everyone for continuing to watch and or listen to this week's show. And
yes, the wrap up.
It is the wrap up. So, I mean, this. I'm sure you hear this on every other podcast or YouTube show you watch. How it's not cheap to do this. But in order for us to spruce it up and get a little bit better production value out of it,
we need it.
We could really use your support over at patreon.com/GCandC.
Just $1.
And $1 a month is awesome.
What?
And you can follow us on Twitter at GCandC. And we do have a Discord channel that has a lot of different channels. You can just pick your flavor and go nuts.
The Discord channel's definitely. And the Facebook.
And the Facebook channel. The Facebook page is a lot of fun because you see in a lot of different shared content. And there's a lot of posts every week. There's different content being showed up. So, check those out.
Yeah, we get a lot of our news out there first also, and talk there, get into arguments and whatnot. If you don't want to send us $1 a month, you can also support us by grabbing some sweet merch like what Jeff has on right now. That beautiful shirt that I designed with the 2 out of the 4 people here right now. You can get it in the form of a t-shirt or a hoodie. You can even get it on a coffee mug or even a sticker for maybe your vinyl record case or your laptop.
Or your Switch.
And who knows if, somebody out there wants a little dog sweater at some point with our faces on it, maybe we can make that happen. But we need you to tell us. That's
sure.
You want to find that merch, it's at the Games, Comics, and Culture store at teespring.com. And we always end it with a special thank you to Fred Thomas for that awesome opening music and Xee Reiter for our logo. What a beauty, Xee Reiter there for that logo. CC. Thank y'all for joining, everybody. We love it.
And stay tuned as we go full spoilers on Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 2.
Season 8, Episode 2.
Full spoilers coming up. Full spoilers coming up.
Full spoilers.
Full spoilers. So if you have not watched Game of Thrones,
don't watch. Go watch it right now.
Don't watch right now because it's about to get real.
It is about to get real. Go watch it and come back. Check us out. Yep. Later.
Peace. Welcome to A Show Has No Name.
A Show Has No Name.
Yeah. So for the next
to be back.
5 weeks now, so 4 weeks after this episode, we are replacing our normal CBC or Star Wars talk with just complete Game of Thrones.
You have to.
And you have to. And be forewarned, if you didn't catch it before, this is full spoilers. So
yes,
if you haven't watched episode 1, if you haven't watched episode 1, you need to go watch episode 1 and 2. But if you haven't watched 2, don't watch.
That's correct. Because we're about to go deep on Arya.
Deep. Not as deep as the blacksmith, but I guess the cat's out of the bag. It was kind of interesting. I didn't know how far they would go. And I thought it was almost weird watching Maisie Williams playing Arya do a semi-brief nude scene
Yes.
in the show.
Yes.
Because when she started, you look back at season 1, she was 12 years old back in season 1, and she's 22 now. So it was really weird because you watched her grow up, and it almost felt like it was your daughter. So it was really
strange.
It was.
I read a great piece on it today. A woman wrote this. She said that it was probably the most legit and
tasteful
sex scene in the entire series.
I think so. Yeah.
Because Arya wanted it. Like she was in control of the situation. It wasn't a question about consent, and it wasn't an over sexualization of her. This is something that she requested. And
it was fitting. It was fitting because I think that this whole episode revolved around a night that's been happening for thousands of years.
Right.
To every person has ever gone into battle. This night before battle is where you sit there and you reminisce and you have fun and you release some tension because you know that the dawn is going to bring hell like you've never seen before. And it was well fitting for Arya to pick, this is my time.
Yeah.
And they had set it up in episode 1 where she's given him the blueprints. And I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. It's like he said he's Robert Baratheon's bastard. That's what he said.
Oh, it's Gendry. Gendry.
Yeah, Gendry. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you could tell that Arya really liked him. But I thought it was, even though it was kind of weird in a sense from the rest of what you've seen with nudity in Game of Thrones, that this one was fitting, but it was still weird, I guess.
Well, just because we grew up with her.
And I'm glad that they didn't sensationalize it and they didn't make her a sexual object, which
there was no objectification at all. It was all on her terms. I thought it was fantastic. It was one of those creeper episodes that I really kind of want to watch it again because I feel like it was so it came off initially as maybe underwhelming because it was so slow.
And it was just setting up for something bigger.
Yeah. But I really liked that they went into the direction that they did here.
A lot of story filler. And a lot of tying up stories. Because you finally see Jaime Lannister stand before Sansa, Daenerys, Jon Snow, and Bran, and basically stand there being, called out for all the things he had done, all the atrocities he'd done, and he had done it in the name of family.
Right.
And he stood by that. He said, "I did it for my family's betterment."
He didn't back down.
I'm not sorry because I was doing it at this time. I was doing it for this reason.
And they would have done the same.
And Bran, he was cool. We knew Bran was cool with it because he's just rolling around in his wheelchair, creeping everybody out with the stairs.
He's not Bran anymore. So
no, he's the three-eyed raven.
But no, one thing I really liked. Two things. They showed camaraderie like I've rarely seen on a show. Mm-hmm. The scene around the fire where they're drinking. It was fantastic. And it's so hard to pull that off because that could have just as easily gone very cheesily. It could have been corny as hell. Oh, yeah. And these things often in film, when they attempt to show camaraderie, it comes off bad.
Yeah, they can't get the essence.
Right. And they nailed it. I thought they nailed it.
They nailed it. And the culmination was the knighting of Brianna Tarth. That was awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah, I just thought that was so great. And for Jaime to do it, it was a redemption for him in a lot of ways as well. It was. Yeah. It was
him going back to the tenets of knighthood is what it was.
Yeah, because underneath it all, even though he is the Kingslayer, he's still got a personal code underneath there. I mean, he was king night. The Night Watch. Night's Watch.
No, he was not part of the Night's Watch.
Or
He was the Golden
wasn't he-
Knight. He was the protector of the realm, I want to say. I can't remember. I know that other people have read all the books and know all the
something with cloak, like gold cloak.
the gold cloaks. Yes, he was a captain of the gold cloaks.
That's it.
That's
Something
it.
like that. If we got it wrong, just let us know.
Just
But
let
I
us
think
know,
it's
please.
But no, I thought it was a great way. You know, he's never going to fully redeem himself, especially in the eyes of everybody else. But just being a Lannister alone, nobody's going to really take him in. But you know, obviously she's in love with him. But it was a way for him to redeem himself. You know,
Yeah,
as much as he could.
It was, and you know, and sort of Jamie's coming to realization. You know, he showed more of his personal code became more important than family because he was there for the good of all men and not just for the advancement of his family at this point.
Right.
Where Cersei still doesn't understand that, but there was that interesting dialogue between Tyrion and Jamie where, you know, they bring up the fact that he was in love with his sister and had children with his sister. And then Tyrion comes to the realization that Jamie always knew who she was and still loved her anyways.
Yeah, it's twin.
Yeah,
also, you know?
Yeah, twin. So there's that bond. But and then I like the whole thing with I think his name is Tormund. He's the wildling.
Tormund Giantsbane, yeah.
Yes, and that was pretty interesting. That was a good tall tale kind of warrior story, and he's hitting on Brienne like there's no tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna have to come to. You know what I was thinking was there's gonna be a clash at some point because Jamie's in love with her a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
So
he is. I think it's more out of respect.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone would replace his sister in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's a lot of, like, really good moments with when Sam gives Jorah Mormont his family's sword.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
And he mentions his dad, who is the maester of the Night's Watch.
Yep.
And, you know, acknowledges to Jorah, and Jorah acknowledges about that he served with his dad in the Night's Watch. And so it was like come in a full circle, a great honor where Jorah's father helped out Sam find his calling, and Sam's giving Jorah the edge with the Valyrian family sword to help with this impending battle.
Yeah, that was kind of brilliant. I love it. I love that family was the theme of it all. I mean, for the
it was family and camaraderie.
Yeah, family and camaraderie. Even the fact that Arya and Gendry hooking up.
Yep.
That is House Baratheon and House Stark finally coming together.
Again.
Was that the first time?
Well, because Robert Baratheon was supposed to
marry
Ned's sister.
Lyanna, right.
Lyanna, but then because Rhaegar married her secretly, and then, you know, and Rhaegar, and Jon Snow finally tells Daenerys who he really is, and her reaction was interesting, and I'm surprised they didn't flesh it out more, because you have to expect her, you know, I don't think she wants to accept that, and now she's scared that all that she has done leading up to this moment with the dragons raising an army, crossing over to take back the Seven Kingdoms, to think she's going to step on the Iron Throne as Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and only to find out that there is a male heir, which in that society, they're always going to take precedence over the female. So she doesn't like that, you know?
No, I don't think she does. Also, she's finding out also that she slept with her nephew.
Well, that's the Targaryen way.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't think John gives a shit about the throne.
He doesn't. He just wants the North. Because he asked, he's like, what about the North? Right. The North was taken from us. It is ours. Yeah, and I don't think John he doesn't fully embrace his Targaryen brother. He's taking the Stark side of his family because he's half Stark and he was raised by his uncle.
Right.
And so he's Stark. So in a happy, perfect ending to Game of Thrones, where everything is sunshine and rainbows, Daenerys would take the Iron Throne and leave Jon as king in the North.
Right.
Because even if they got married, he would be the king and she would just be the queen. And she can't accept that now because she's been that subservient wife as the
she's not doing that again.
No, she's not doing that.
No, so. She'd rather die than do that.
Yeah, so it's interesting who's going to win, and then what's up with Arya's secret spear that she had Gentry made for her.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I didn't read any of the theories online because I don't do that.
I haven't either. So is it to take down the dragon because it's lightweight, or is it lightweight enough to travel far?
Well, the key is that
take out the Night
King. It splits in half, the spear. Oh. So I don't know what significance that has.
I don't either. So, but then also they talk of the plan because Bran drops the bomb that the Night King is after him. So he wants to use himself as bait to lure the Night King out in the open because they theorize that if you take out the Night King, it stops the undead.
Everybody else, right.
So, how is that plan going to work? That they're going to try and ambush the Night King?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So,
but it is Bran. I mean, he is the three-eyed raven. He probably has a better idea of what to do than most anybody else.
And then Arya has, and Arya being the faceless god, could it be a trap to take on Bran's persona, lure the Night King in, could still have Bran close, but not there.
Mm-hmm.
And then she does a surprise attack? I don't know.
There's a lot of options on the table right now.
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was a great episode. It was a great episode. It was a very subtly, great episode.
It was set up as a filler, and you're like sort of watching it like, okay, get to the good parts. And then it's after watching it and actually thinking about it, you realize what it really was.
Absolutely.
And it's a pivotal moment in the story. Because
dude, I had goosebumps when they knighted her. I swear to God,
I know.
I was like that.
I was almost tearing up. I was tearing up almost just from it.
It's a fucking great show, man.
It's such an awesome show.
I'm sad to see it go. I know it's time. Actually, they talked to George Martin, and he didn't want it to end. Did you know that? No. They interviewed him, and he's like, I was hoping they would go another 3 seasons. I was like, geez, man.
How many people do you want to kill off? How many generations?
Right. I was like, get back to your book, and then we'll talk about more seasons.
Well, and then the lady of the Karstarks, that young girl, she's like, I'm going to fight, motherfucker. Y'all ain't going to stop me. She's a badass. She's strong, too.
Absolutely. No, that was great. I totally enjoyed it.
Another thing is when Theon shows up, Sansa embraces him, and I don't know if it was a look of either just...
It's because they went through the same thing with
Boltons.
Yeah, with Ramsay.
That's true. She helped bring him out of Reek, is what she did.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. He saved her.
Endured Ramsay. Yeah. Yeah. He saved her. She saved him in a way. Yeah. There was a bond there.
And she's forgiven him for what he did to Winterfell and understands why he did it.
I don't think Theon is long for this world, to be honest.
I really don't. I think he's going to sacrifice himself. He's going to make the ultimate sacrifice. I think to save Sansa is what I think is going to happen. Or he could be the hero of the whole thing.
Yeah, he could.
I mean, the ultimate redemption would be to save Winterfell by sacrificing yourself. That's the ultimate redemption. There, that would.
His name would be in the history books,
and it would solidify the bond and the relationship between the Greyjoys on Iron Island and the North.
Yep.
Years to come.
Yep. And an interesting side note: the Iron Islands. I always wondered why the Greyjoys fit, because in the books they fit in a lot easier. It makes a lot more sense what their role in the books, but in the TV series, I was kind of wondering, like, well, why are they the part that they play? And it's because the Night King can't get to those islands.
He can't cross water. Yeah.
Right. So that provides a huge plot point if it's needed at some point. I don't know, but that was great. I just want to mark before we end this again that my final theory is that the throne is going to be destroyed, and there will not be a throne to have, and the Seven Kingdoms will go back to be Seven Kingdoms. But that's my theory.
It could be.
I'm marking it. So if someone wants to check it at the end of the season, I said it right there.
They just redivide the lines again and start over again. And maybe that's what winter is. I mean, I still think of winter is coming. Winter is a way of cleansing.
Right.
No.
Yep. And the seasons last very long also in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Winter lasts for like 7 years or something.
Yeah, I would probably just off myself if that was it.
All right. Well, that's been a show has no name. Check it out.
Season 8, episode 2.
Season 8, episode 2, correct.
Next week is going to be amazing.
Ooh, it will. We're going to be halfway done.
Because this can be a double duty. Because we also have Avengers Endgame to talk about and this epic battle. We're going to have 2 epic battles.
Yes. It's going to be too much.
We may not have a news next week. I
might just die on film. So
we could just
live stream, die. Thanks for checking it out, y'all.
Thanks,
See y'all next week.
Peace
Out.